Hello, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. Welcome to elenasbarre. Today I have the resurgence of sanity, guys, with me, and we have a fun topic. Now I know Steve is going to intervene and say she says it every single time.
Yep.
Right?
No, you already beat me to that.
I know. Well, now you can say something else, right? So, yeah, guys, we are talking about passport bros today. I get some comments from guys, mostly talking about Russian women because, as you guys know, I'm from Russia, and then they think that all Russian women are these super cute angels that can do no wrong. And I had to beat my husband to do this live stream with us because he can tell you more things about passport bros because he's done it. So
You
here we
see,
go.
she just admitted it. She beats her husband. Russian women are not that great.
Thank you, Steve. I'm glad you caught that.
Well, I had to convince him to, do this live stream. So yeah, guys, I don't even know where should we start from. Like, why do men believe? Okay, I have a question before we dive in. Why do you think men believe that Russian women or like Eastern European women or Asian women, and we've done a few shows on Asian women, why do you think they are better? Why do you think they think these women are better?
Grass is always greener on the other side.
True. But a lot of men also, I think they go for visual because these women, they look nicer, cuter. Maybe they tend to take care of themselves.
I mean, they're not as
Right.
fat.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking about this, and I do have the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's erroneous thinking that men have. First of all men, no matter where, are attracted to beautiful, thin women, hip to waist ratio,
Yeah.
pl- uh, symmetrical face, long hair. Okay, yeah, that's the way it is. First of all, yeah, there's more of those in Asia, in Eastern Europe, and Russia, pretty much anywhere else in the world, because the U.S. women tend to be a bit on the chunkier side.
Steve, I want
Yeah.
to say something on this point. Most people don't know this, but a lot of women in France and Spain are also very thin, and they're Western. They're fully Western.
Sure.
The the problem of weight is very geographically constrained.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough. And even Canadian women, I think, tend to be a little bit thinner than American women.
Yes.
So here's what it comes down to. In the U.S., there is this, it's the belief among the Christians and among non-Christians that feminism is the problem. If it wasn't for feminism corrupting women, it would be much better and they'd make a good wife. So, we have to go someplace where feminism is less. And any place other than the US, since they don't know that much about those places, they assume feminism is less. That's not true.
Yeah.
But what's even more not true is women are pliable. Yes, feminism can make them worse. Remove feminism, and do you have a great woman? Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's female nature is what it is. And so you have to manage and lead a woman and have dominance in order for her to respond and be the proper kind of woman for you. If you think you're just going to go overseas, be a passport bro, and go find an unsoiled, ready-made, nice woman, yeah, it's not necessary. It's the foundation of the problem is not feminism. It's the nature of females, which is not a bad thing. It's just that women need a strong leader. And if you can't be a strong leader, I don't care where you go in the world. You're going to marry a woman and she will end up trying to control you. And if you don't have the dominance to prevent that, you'll end up being controlled.
So when I talk about my experiences passport broing, I often spend an enormous amount of time discussing female nature.
Mm-hmm.
Because what people are actually hoping for when they go do passport bro is that this woman is going to have somehow magically cleared herself of her female nature, that the culture around her has driven it from her as if it's a demon, that the culture can cleanse.
Oh, maybe not cleanse, but restrain. But they maybe
Okay.
do it that way.
Yeah. So they think the culture restrains women and they don't have to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we've said it here, and we'll probably say it again. It takes a village to restrain a woman. The village isn't the culture. The village is men. It's men imposing consequences on the excesses of female nature. So, here's the thing, guys. The core message, at least for me, is if you think you're going to go over to a foreign country and you're going to meet this compliant, ready-made, soft woman, I have nothing but bad news for you. These women are so much better at playing the game. They are so much more demanding of actual dominance than an American woman is. An American woman is the easiest woman you will ever meet. An American feminist. I kid you not.
Well, okay, darling, tell them, was I already made when you met me?
No. So we met in 2014 and, well, it's 2025 and I would say work in progress is the current status of Elena.
I shouldn't have asked that question, but okay.
Hey,
I pretend it doesn't happen.
In defense of Elena, no woman ever makes it out of that status.
Pretty much.
Right.
So,
because the minute a man says, "Okay, she's complete, I can relax now,"
don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Never perfect. Never perfect.
She will end up taking control. It takes active management.
I actually don't want. I don't want that control. But yeah, I understand the logic. Yeah.
Well, the logic is very simple. Red pill.
Mm-hmm.
If you give up, what you're really saying when you're saying, "Oh, I'm done building her. She is complete." What you're really telling yourself, "Oh, I can relax and not be the person that built her." Yeah. Everything in life, from you're just keeping the lights on to everything that's required to go into society to keep it running, requires maintenance, it requires upkeep, it requires conscious effort.
You know what? I'll make an admission here. My second marriage, I thought, was pretty good. When did it start to go bad? When I said, yeah, things are good. I don't really need to lead and be dominant. Yeah, she's proven herself. I can kind of coast here. No, that was a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you relax, you give up your frame, basically.
Yes, actually. Guys, if you think that you're going to go to another country and find a girl who you can just relax and be yourself with, what's actually going to happen is, and there'll be variations on this theme depending on where you go in the world. You're going to get taken, and I mean that in the grifter sense. So one of the things to bring up on that is, when you do passport broing as a guy, you need to have done just an absolute incredible amount of research. Okay. You need to know enough about the various possible cultures you could be headed to pick a culture that you think you might do well with. And then you have to start really, frankly, spurging out on understanding their culture. Learn some of the words. Watch movies about the culture. Read books, written in that culture. Yeah.
It's also, you mentioned movies. It's not just the movies that foreigners are making about Russian culture, or even Russians are propagating about Russian culture. It's the inside movies.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, you might have to actually go, learn the language. Now, I do not speak Russian.
Well, there are movies with English subtitles. I'm occasionally sharing them with you guys on my channel, so you can check those.
And guys, so I said Elena and I met in 2014. My studies of Eastern European culture began in probably 2006.
What took you so long?
Well, I got married in between there.
Oh, I know.
Well, okay, there's one other aspect, and you've mentioned it. You met Elena first time face-to-face in Spain.
Yep.
How long had she been living outside of Russia and been exposed to other cultures, which kind of modified her view and personality of the world? So even though Elena is Russian, culturally,
she's a mutt.
She's not 100%, because she spent time in other countries doing other things, learning other languages. She's not a typical Russian woman.
No, not even close. Actually, to be perfectly blunt, I've never been to Russia. When we met in Spain, we dated in Spain. She was able to come to the United States before we got married, but that was like a one-time deal. And
it's because I traveled before. I had work visa, student and work visa.
Right, so she was already in the U.S. system.
I could visit, yeah.
So I want to point out that here's another thing about passport broing. There's a lot of things I could say of specific examples of what I did, and absolutely none of it is going to apply to what you're, as a guy, what you're going to be dealing with. So well, I mean, we visited other countries in Europe, but all of our dating was done in Western Europe. As an American, particularly back in the mid 2010s, this was a relatively simple way to do it. But it also meant that culturally we were on neutral ground. She didn't have her family around. I didn't have my family around. She didn't have her culture around. I didn't have my culture around. Okay. So in Russia, it's men, particularly the fathers, will test the hell out of you. Okay. I didn't have to go through any of that. Her dad wasn't there to do it. Okay. I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm explaining that my situation is going to be very different from what you can do. So let's say you want to go date a Russian because you think Russian chicks are hot. I mean, well, you do watch this channel. You're going to have a rough time in Russia right now. And here you want to talk about spurging out. One of the things you have to be aware of is, where is the nearest U.S. consulate? You've got to know this, okay? You have to. There isn't one in Russia right now. It's all closed. There's no embassy, no consulates, no nothing.
There used to be in Moscow, but even then, the fiancé visas, the ones that we did, they haven't been issued in a very long time. I mean, they were saying that they were, but there were so many limitations to that.
Well, this gets into another aspect of passport broing. You have to know what the fraud rates are for the country you're going to. Russia itself is considered to have a very high fraud rate. So the United States vets visas going to the Russian embassy very, very closely. Visas going to the Spanish embassy in Madrid, not so much. So that was another advantage of what we did. Okay. And you guys, you have to know all of this. Now, you don't have to know the visa thing if you're just going to do what they call sex tourism and you just want to get lots of poon. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go there and I'm going to find me a long-term woman, the amount of research you have to do would put an autist to shame.
That brings up.
Go through this. Go ahead.
Brings up another observation about the two of you. First of all, Plutarch is substantially above average intelligence. And actually, Elena is substantially above average intelligence. That means they've done the research. And what I've observed about women that are substantially smarter, they tend to be less feminists in their talking. They understand other things. They understand dynamics at a much higher level. Now, they're still a woman. They're still going to go back to the base programming when they get emotional. Once she gets emotional, the intelligence doesn't matter. But when she's not as highly emotional, yes, she'll understand things with the intelligence. So if you think, okay, guys, be honest. You know where you rank in the relative intelligence level. If you're not a super smart guy, you know what? You're not going to look at these things. You're not equipped to understand the dynamics. And yeah, you're more susceptible to being controlled. And you're in a foreign environment, foreign laws, and over there you're at a disadvantage. And if you come back here, you're at the same disadvantage of every other man in the U.S., regardless of whether he married an American or a foreigner, because she will soon find out how much power she has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys, do you, listeners, you, Nick and Steve, do you think Elena is not aware of how much power she has in the United States? Like, I mean...
Yeah, she is.
Especially after getting the citizenship, you know?
Oh, let's watch the video from Rich Cooper.
Yeah, this is a great segue.
Yeah. Okay, let me hit play.
Yep.
American who has a Chinese wife that has turned his home into the most uncomfortable place in his life. Let's just dive right into this and see what we got going on and offer some feedback to it. So apparently he's been following the channel for 3 years. He's in his mid-30s, six-figure income. And again, my Chinese wife has turned my home into the most uncomfortable place in my life. I know that I should leave, but I have held out for my son because she had threatened to take him away to China. Our relationship started when she quickly expressed that she had no interest in being physical with me until she came back from a business trip and was all over me. It's a bad start. You do not want to get involved with women that aren't enthusiastic to be with you to begin with. Anyway, she comes back from her business trip and is all over him like a fat kid on cake. Red flags number 1 and 2. Shortly after that, she ended up being pregnant. And yes, I tested to make sure it was mine. Good man. That's a smart move. I took advice from my family, proposed and married her before the kid was born. Okay. And then you put after that green card question mark. What do you think? Since then, we moved to a new state. I doubled my income, but she was never happy. She got a job of her own and had hoarded all of her money ever since. Finances are extremely contested, and she will only ever use her money for things that...
This is how to get in shape fast.
Oh.
The best way to boost your metabolic rate
yeah.
and get in shape is not keto, it's not paleo.
Just skip it.
she approves of, mostly sending it to her family or travel or on her terms. She still wasn't happy. I built a new home. Still wasn't happy. Somewhere around here was when I first retained an attorney, but didn't execute because of the above. The list goes on. Cars, etc. Okay, so he's improved her life dramatically. She certainly got a pretty good deal out of this. And she even forced having a second kid with threats that she would find somebody else to do it with if I wouldn't. Wow. Red flag number 7. I truly feel death by 1,000 paper cuts, as every time I concede to keep up with the pace, hoping to make things better, it always ends up being at the expense of my values and would further entrap me in this life. At this point, we are over 1 year with no intimacy, connection, or positive feedback about anything in our lives, and almost every confrontation escalates into fights, but everything and nothing ever gets resolved. From what I know, it's following textbook narcissism combined with contempt. He goes on to say, how do I wrap my head around breaking this cycle? I've had years to twist this and keep myself here being this long. My biggest challenge is the kids, fear of the divorce system here, losing half my time with them, not being able to protect them, being financially thrashed in the process, and losing many freedoms in the next 2 decades. I feel I have more influence over my future by staying together, more involvement over my kids' lives. And once things are contested, I think it will be a bigger challenge. You're probably right. I have done enough math to know that if I keep conceding for private schools, homes, cars, etc., I won't be able to afford to leave. Then travel opening back up, risks can escalate quickly. Okay, let's hop on the road. Have a little discussion about our friend's crazy Chinese wife. And guys, just for frame and reference here, I've dealt with a lot of these over the years, and this Chinese wife story is pretty common. You know, the dragon wife, the dragon lady, whatever you want to call her. I don't know if it's exclusive to Chinese culture, but a lot of white dudes end up getting wrapped up with Chinese gals. And actually, it's not always Chinese. I've seen this in other Asian cultures too. And they get turned into these like pussified former versions of themselves. Yes men, you know, if you will. They're required to...
Hold on. How are Russian women? Are they better than this, Elena?
I've seen some Russian women. Do you remember that showdown where we were watching about visas and how people enter into the country? There were a few girls who would leave their husbands. They would marry, they would get the documents, and then they would leave.
Oh, so what you're describing is green card fraud, and it is rampant everywhere. I mean, look, we have an illegal immigration problem. People want to come to the United States. Why do they want to come to the United States? Because it's better here than there. Okay? Look, this is a tough one, because for a woman, it is better here financially. But remember, they are leaving their culture. They are leaving their family. It is harder. So they need a really good reason to do this. And money, remember, Rich was talking about, this girl says that she's going to go make her own money, and she approves of sending the money all back to the family. Yes. That is what they think of.
I thought it was just the sex workers who are willing to trade pussy for financial gain.
Well, then every woman in the world is a sex worker. I mean, if that's your definition.
I'm not making a definition. I'm just pointing out essentially that's what they're doing. Love bombing. Doesn't that describe the same phenomena regardless of the nationality of the woman?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nick, you've been awfully silent down there. What are your thoughts
On this video so far? Yeah. It's not just Russian and Chinese women. Although it can be worse because they can take your kids and you can't get them back. I think in China they can
That's true everywhere, actually. So if
okay.
if you're married to a foreign woman, she divorces you in the United States, and she goes back to her home country and takes the kids with her. There are no extradition rights. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is any country that you will find stories of this happening. South America, Central America. This is actually a huge problem in Southeast Asia. And the State Department is going to shrug their shoulders, throw up their hands, and say, look, there's nothing. And there is nothing they can do short of literally invading the country with armed men to go pull the children out and put them back with the father. Well, the state already hates the fathers, so why the hell would they do that?
Right.
Well, okay, the same thing happens everywhere. Say you're a man from Texas and you marry a woman from Louisiana and you get divorced and she takes the kids and moves back to Louisiana. Yeah,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
visit the kids in
That's
Louisiana. Once in a while, you can have them come to Texas, but you know what? You can't, you really don't have much power there. Right, Nick?
You don't. Nope, you don't have much say so at all. In fact, some visitation days are for some reason don't happen. So
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
at least you in if they're in the country though, it helps. If they
Yeah,
can't take them
Yeah,
out.
definitely. 'Cause at least you can visit. Yeah, you
right.
can visit
Like,
them. Mhm.
so, like, Nick has some recourse. You
Mhm.
get divorced from a foreign woman and she takes the kids and goes back to her home country. You've
May
got
never see them ever again.
exactly.
Mhm.
And here's the thing. This isn't true of all countries, but with some countries where the United States is particularly friendly, the United States can order you to pay child support to that person in the foreign country.
This is how it used to be in Russia. I've actually, I know one story. It's a credible source. The lady was helping with visas, in particular with the fiance visas. And you guys know I was also helping students to get visas, and it was part of my job. So yeah, she was saying that that woman, she got pregnant from American men, and they didn't issue her the visa right away. So they had to spend like 5 years issuing, applying and reapplying, and they had to do a bunch of DNA tests to prove that he was the actual father. So he couldn't see her, he couldn't visit her. I mean, they were meeting somewhere in the middle ground, and then they approved it. So he finally was able to move her, but it took like years to get her there, and then during all of that time, he was sending her the money so that she could take care of the child and take care of herself. So yeah, this happens a lot.
Sending her the money.
That's different.
Mhm.
That's something else. Elena. That's
And I'm
something else.
sure having no one looking over her shoulder, what she did, how she spent the money, who she hung out with.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I think she was entirely faithful. Maybe she was. We'll assume that she was. But at least 50% of the time, she just has a sugar daddy in a foreign country who sends her money, and she can have whatever experiences she wants.
Exactly. It's not, darling, I know that it's not the child support, but it's he doesn't have any authority, so he just sends the money to her, and then she just pumps him for what he's worth.
Well, that's a whole nother set of issues. Like I could do entire episodes on just chunks of the issues that we're talking about. Okay. I mentioned it in the opening that financial grifting is a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
And There are so many different ways. A large part of the research I did was learning how to identify the various scams, what the women are going to do, how they're going to, what they'll ask for, when they'll ask for it. And if you're going to do passport broing, you have to learn how to work with online tools, websites, dating apps, etc. Like you're not going to succeed if you don't, because you don't speak enough of the language to do it. You have to run your game in real time.
Also, I've heard a few stories from the Spanish guys. They met a Russian woman online, and she was basically scamming them. She would ask her for the money to buy the ticket for herself, but she would never come. This is so common, guys.
So what the women will do is they'll say, "Oh, I need money to go get a visa."
Oh yeah.
Okay, I need a few $100s to go get a visa. That's the hook. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you give them the few $100s, they know they've got you on the hook. And then you'll get a sob story about how they couldn't get the visa. So if you want to meet, you'll have to come to them, and even so. And then go ahead.
There's a term for this. Anybody know it? Catfishing.
Mm-hmm.
And American women do it to American men also. Catfishing is meeting someone online and stringing them along to extract financial resources. Some women can get tens of thousands of dollars from a man. And then you can go out and you can learn about this. They'll string you along. And then when the man finally says, I can't give you any more money, are you scamming me? Then she'll cut off and she'll feign anger. You don't trust me. And she'll just cut off everything in a huff. Leave them just devastated. And then somehow, people start talking again. And then, he's been without her. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I doubted you.
Yep.
And now she'll start the whole scheme over, and oh, yes, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I'll send you more money.
So one of my ironclad rules that it can be hard sometimes, because the thing to remember about online dating is you don't know if you're talking to a person yet. Okay. You're talking to a picture, and some of the profiles that you're looking at, these women are just devastatingly beautiful women. Okay. And you really, really, really want it to be true that they mean all these lovely things that they're saying about you. But the moment they brought up money, you have to go no contact, nothing. Just, that's it. Okay. Absolute ironclad rule.
But what if you want to meet her in person, or if she wants to meet you in person?
Then you've got to go. And so here's what I did. First of all, remember, Elena and I met in person in Spain. The first time. Okay. We met in other countries later, but in Spain, the first time. Okay. When I went, I booked the ticket, and I've said this before, I'm a pilot. I love flying. So I had never been to Europe before, so I said, you know what? I'm going to have fun with this. So I booked a ticket, and it was all a bunch of airplane. The actual routing I took was terrible. Okay. Like, no one would actually take this routing on this trip if they were anything other than a pilot who loves airplanes. But it was a bunch of airplanes I had never flown on before. I thought, oh yeah, it'd be really cool to fly on a 747-8, okay. And then I had a hotel there, and I had a list of activities that I wanted to do. you know,
Well, Barcelona is a beautiful city.
yeah, you know, you've got the Sagrada Familia, you've got Park Güell, you've got Plaza Catalunya. The food in Barcelona is to die for. You could go to Barcelona for 4 days, gorge yourself, and come home a happy camper. Okay. So this is in the Red Pill community, we call outcome independence. Regardless of what happened with Elena, I was going to have a good time. Okay. I was going to have fun. I was going to see things I'd never seen, you know, try food I'd never tried before, visit places that, frankly, we just don't have anything like in the United States. No matter what happened, and remember, I was going through a divorce. Okay. So as I've said in my prior story, it took me 6 weeks to figure out that my ex cheated on me. And at that point I was done with her. I pretty much just started looking online right after that. I'm like, nah, screw this. Fuck it. Fuck them all. I'm going to go have me some fun. Okay. Remember, I said that I started researching this in 2006. Okay. I had years of knowledge built up. And so I was like, well, I already know what I want to do. I already know what I'm going to do. And so I just went and started doing it immediately. And so, you know, part of this was, oh, you know, I'm no longer married. I can do whatever the hell I want. I can either do it with a woman or without one. Either way, I'll be fine. So outcome independence ended up being this huge determining factor in the success of the initial meetup. And, you know, she didn't ask for money. She didn't ask. I'm just saying.
Oh, she played the long game.
Right.
I did. I didn't want the short term.
Now, here I'm going to say something else, and people are going to go like, "Well, why would you do that?" So, 2 months before she moved here, she messaged me and said, "Hey, look, I need some money to cover rent at I don't have my job anymore because I'm shutting down my life in Europe. I need to cover rent till we can move here for a couple months." I'm like, "Okay, there it goes." Why would I do that? Well, by the time we got to that point where we had already agreed that she was going to move here and get married, I'd spent quite a bit of time with her in person. She had met my family. I'd met most of hers. She already had the visa when that happened. So we had finished the process of getting the fiancé visa. And it was like, okay, if she really wants to steal, I think it was like $4,000 and blow up everything that was done. Okay. I told myself, okay, I'm writing off this $4,000. I could afford it at the time. So I was just like, well, we're going to find out how good, how she is as a person.
But you were outcome indifferent.
Yeah.
I send the money, I kiss it goodbye. Might be a bad idea, but I'm not expecting anything from the money. Plus, I get to find out whether she's honest. So there's an upside here.
You get to learn something about her. And I did learn something about her. She actually keeps her word. That's a useful thing to learn as a man. Doesn't mean that women always keep their word. I'm not saying that. But she demonstrated that I could hand her some amount of money to cover some basics in while we're doing the transition process, and it would be used appropriately. Wow. Okay. That's kind of a big deal. But when I was just talking to women early on, even for most of our dating relationship, the only money that I spent on her was shared money. So like going out to eat, or things you would normally do in a dating relationship anyway, buying dinners, buying okay, the touristy bus tickets, whatever, stuff like that. Although later on in our relationship we didn't do as much touristy
if you
stuff.
spend, let me point out, it's a mental thing about spending that money. If you're going out to eat, I want to eat at a nice place. I'm saying from a guy's standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to eat at a nice place. I want to enjoy this experience. I want to enjoy the food. It'd be great if I had a companion,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm willing to pay for it. I'm not doing this to impress her. I could give a fuck. I'm doing this because I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, good. Let's do a touristy thing. Oh, yeah, it's going to take some tickets for a bus tour, whatever. I'm doing this because I want to see it, and I'll bring her along as a companion. I'm not doing this to impress her.
Right. How, I mean, you're going to have to spend money. So you're in Barcelona, and let's say you want to visit the monastery in Montserrat. Well, that's a bus drive. That's a bus ticket. And you can get these little packages where you can do like Montserrat in the morning, afternoon, then you come out and you do a Spanish style dinner, early dinner thing. You do wine tasting. Like,
oh, that was an awesome trip. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool to do just as a guy. Oh, and by the way, I got this cute blonde chick sitting next to me. The woman is additive to the situation, but was not necessary to do it. Right. So though, like it when it comes to money early on, you just say no. And if they pitch a fit about it, just walk away. It isn't worth it. Later on, once you get to know them and know who they are, you can start to use the money as a test of who they are.
Yeah. So
Actually
should we
cheaper
keep
to do
watching?
that than in the long run.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You're going to spend money on an American woman too. So
yeah.
that's the difference. Should we keep watching Rich Cooper?
Sure.
Yeah.